So I've been looking at the logo of Radar for the past year or a bit more, and it's a cool logo. But of course, it's not a secret, right? It contains the part that actually says reverse, right? So I thought I'll make a presentation in reverse. So I'll start in the end and then go back to the beginning. I hope you're okay with that. So thanks. Any questions? I'd really like to thank everyone who participated in the project as beta testers. It was a crazy run, but we did it. So thanks again. If there are no questions at this time, this is where you can download the tool. So you can use either the long link or the short link, however you want, right? And when you actually know where to download it, right, what you need is some prerequisites. You need Radar, of course. Right now, you also need, unfortunately, Bash and GNU core utils. That might change in the future, but right now, those are the requirements for this to run. And installation is super easy, right? If you know the link, you do a git clone, and then you just run it from your console. Works perfectly on Linux. I hear that Mac is a bit worse, and Windows is not as good. But we'll be working on multi-platform support in the future. So now, nearing the end of the presentation, I would like to show you the demo of the tool. And as you know, live demos can fail. But I always do live demos, because I love to live dangerously. Well, but this time I want to bring it up a notch. I'm upping the ante here. So I'd like someone from the audience who has never seen this tool before to come here and do the demo instead of me. Anyone, please. Come up here. All you need to know is a bit of Linux and the keyboard. Who has seen the tool? Where are my beta testers? Okay, we have a couple people. So the other people, guys, girls, come on. One of you have the chance to come here, sit down for a couple minutes, and I see many people thinking maybe I should get up. Yep. Yeah, we have someone? Yeah, cool, come here. Great, applause. So please sit down. Mm-hmm. You have the screen, and the audience sees the screen as well, so go right ahead, read it carefully, and enjoy learning Radar. So this person I've seen around at the conference, but we never talked, I think, so far. Yeah. So a completely random member of the audience, no trickery there. Now the person is looking at the info, right? This is what you get when you do git clone and when you launch the shell script. This is what you presented with. So the first couple levels, the first three levels, they're basically meant to help you get acquainted with the interface with the interface of the tool. More than 50% of the test subjects did. Okay, no one did that, but. Okay, seriously, out of I think we had 7 beta testers and none actually typed gidrain, but many of them typed 42 without typing the answer first. So the first level is done, and so 3 levels just to get it started, just so that you know how to use this interface. And then we're going to switch over to Radar tools, to having different levels about rocks, RADIF, and so on. The good thing is it's, of course, completely expandable. Also, it's open source. You will see the link to the GitHub repo at the end of the presentation. So then you can clone it and play around with it. But for now, we are at level 2. And so, yeah, our player here is trying to understand how to skip a level. And the cool thing is you have these hints, right? Creator of the level might have not included a hint, but I'm a good person, so all my levels have hints so far. And now the final challenge of R2learn. And when you finish level 3, then you basically have learned everything there is to learn about r2learn. And then you can start learning radar finally. So there you go. Have you used radar a lot?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Just radar, just the one command, or all the tools in the kits?
A bunch of them.
Oh,
Probably
cool.
Not nearly all.
So that should be easy for you then. Show us the right answer.
Radar commands?
Well, you can. I mean, don't type Ghidra. That doesn't work. I mean, you win the game, but it's not that interesting. Yeah, but yeah, you can use any radar commands you like. But radar commands, I of course mean the tools included in the radar toolkit, right? This is a bash-like shell. Yeah.
I'm used to the...
Yeah, and if you want, you can, even for these starting levels, you can also use the full graphical text user interface of radar and do it that way, right? But there are different ways to do that. So yeah, and so on, and it gets more and more complicated. We are missing like 99% of the levels right now, but they do get more and more complicated slowly up to the CTF level. Right. So I'd love to continue with the demo, but I think we have to move forward with the slides. Thank you so much. A bunch of applause. Oh, sorry. I meant move backwards with the slides. Okay. So moving on to the previous slide. So as you've seen, this is a cool tool, so it would be great if you can contribute, send your pull requests, but not only that. Suggestions for tasks are welcome. You don't need to actually send a full pull request. I'd be happy to implement if you have a good idea. And also issues for tasks and the app itself. So once again, if you don't want to do a PR or whatever, just make an issue. As I said, it's extendable, so you can also set up your own tasks. So how do you do that? It's quite simple. You use a bash script, a super simple bash script. It simply has a bunch of variables in it, and you define them. So the main variable is this r2learn version. This is not the version of the task that you update over time. This is the version of the config setup, right? In case in the future we do some changes that are incompatible with the previous ones, then we can distinguish between those. And then you, of course, have the task name, right, whatever you want. We have the task, and if you want to do a multi-line task, as you saw in the demo, as you will see in the demo, then you can, of course, just use enter inside double quotes, as Bash supports that. Hints, if you want, you specify a hint. If you don't, then you're a meanie, but you still, can just leave it empty or not specify. By the way, out of these, currently for version 1, all of them are optional. You don't need to include any of them. It just works. And in case the next level is not this level +1, right, 3 to 4, but some other level, then you can specify which level is going to be the next when the contestant successfully solves the challenge. But of course, it only would be interesting if we can actually verify if the answer is correct or not. And there are multiple ways for r2learn to verify what you've been typing. One way to do that is using this r2learn command. It looks at the last command that you've run in the interactive radar interface. And if it matches, then it's all great. The color is green here because that indicates a regular expression. That's why the slash is there. So it's a bit, it can get a bit tedious if you have a lot of special characters. Radar has those in commands. But then again, you can easily specify multiple choices or specify approximate answers and be able to accept them. Or we can do r2learn answer, which means this is either what the user types in using answer and the answer, or once again, the output of the last command. The last line of the last command will also be recognized and automatically, by the way. You don't even need to type answer manually. It will just say congratulations. And these two can be used interchangeably and at the same time. You can have both of them for the same challenge, right? You can validate using either of them. But you can choose a third option, which is not compatible to these two, which is post-exec. So that means two things. It means you can run a custom command and check the result. For example, if you need user to modify a file, and you want to verify if it's been modified correctly, you can do that. And the second thing it means, since you can run random binaries, you can easily gain control of the user machine if you submit a level. So do submit a level, please. I will show you the demo of how you can actually create your own levels. And afterwards, you will see all the specs for each of the parameters for the levels that we can have. You have that mic over there? Yeah. Thanks. OK. So we do have. Oh yes, that's perfect. We do have the folder levels. This is just simply cloned from the internet. You will see the URL at the end of the presentation, so you can play around with it. So we can just take a template, and we can create a new level. Let's call it 999 for now. By the way, level numbers can also be non-numbers, like non-numeric. But then you have to specify the next level manually, otherwise it goes to level 1. We copy the template here, and we have a config file obviously in there. That's your config file. So the super secret task. Please crash radar. That's the task. And then post exec might be pgrep radar 2, right? And post result should be empty. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. Yeah, whatever. Next level, whatever. Let's remove that. So that's how it looks over here. We have the config. We can also add some binary files if we want. They will be visible. This task doesn't need any, but we can like copy bin. Well, what's that? Bin through over here, like that. And now we just run the thing. Oops. Like that, we run the thing, and level 999, and there we have, this is our level, right? We need radar, we crash it somehow, and then we solve it, right? But radar is uncrashable, so we can't really solve the level, too bad. So that's how you create, good joke, isn't it, huh? That's how you create levels for these things, right? And in the next slides, you will see all the possible specs you can put in the config file for the levels. Now, I created this great tool called r2learn. And it's basically a bash-like shell that allows you to run only commands from the radar suite. That means you can play around with radar, you can try to learn radar. And it has history support, so you can actually press up and down, left and right, and it still works. It's like almost like a real bash shell. Doesn't have autocomplete, though. That's a pity, huh? Good thing is it can be used for intro training. Like you can give some basic intro. At the end of the presentation, you will see we can do like rax2 intro, for example, trying to teach people basic commands that radar has. We can also have some tasks added that would allow people that have been using GDB their whole life, like I have for most of my lives, to switch to radar easier. And we can even go to CTF level training, right? Having some super hard challenges. So it's quite extendable. Now, that's me. My name is Kirill Solovjovs. I'm a lead researcher at Possible Security from Latvia. I do a lot of stuff. I usually hack things, I break things. So originally, I'm interested in network flow analysis. That's where I started around 10 or 15 years ago. Reverse engineering is a cool thing that I've been doing for the past like 5 years. Social engineering, about the same time. And legal dimension. I actually love paperwork as well, so I'm one of those strange guys that does low-level stuff and super high-level stuff. That's my webpage, kirills.org. Slides are going to be there, and of course the official GitHub repo as well. You can also find a bunch of different other slides on reverse engineering, policy, and everything in between on the website, so go take a look. And do follow me on Twitter. I tweet only in English, so you're safe. You can follow my crap over there. So this is my presentation about r2learn, your personal interactive teacher. It's interesting that during a CFE process, I submitted my idea to Pancake. I said I've made this small script that can be used to teach people to use radar, and you know what he said? He said, "Wow, that's great! I also made one." Uh, so he told me he's been working, I don't know, working on it or sitting on it for a year. But anyway, so he made one obviously in C, not shell. It's a similar tool. It's called r2golf, and you can find it in the repo that you will see at the end of the presentation in the folder _other. And here to tell you about the tool r2golf, we have a very special guest. Please welcome Pancake.
So thanks for having me. This is my first talk in this conference. My presentation is about r2golf, which is a plugin for R2 that I wrote basically for teaching how to use or how to solve some problems using R2. Basically to get used to the commands and understand what are you doing. And the thing is that I was interested in making some kind of gamification of R2. So basically it's a plugin that it's counting the amount of times that you type a command until you solve the problem. So the less commands you type until you solve the problem, the more stars you get. And the more stars you get, the easier it is to go to the next level. So it's basically a plugin written in C. The challenges are written in Markdown. I was trying to find like a file format that was kind of easy to type and easy to parse. So I was experimenting with Go, with XML, which is obviously not the right format. I was also thinking in using JSON, but typing JSON by human is not something that you want to do if you want to get like multi-line things and compare the output and stuff like that. Then there is YAML, but YAML, it's extremely complicated for what it is. I mean, I think the minimum parser I found it was like 6,000 lines, something like this. So I end up like writing a Markdown parser in 100 lines in C. There is like one callback, which is basically taking the event of which kind of element is found in the Markdown file. And it basically takes the title, if it's a list, the contents of the body, etc. And this is used for loading and all the information of the challenge in memory for the plugin. It supports also hints. There is a test suite-like verification. It means that every time that you type a command, it will execute one command and compare the output. So, for example, if the challenge is find the function that is doing something, or it will check if the current offset is the one of the function. I mean, there are many ways to do that. I mean, you can maybe just seek on all the functions, but you can, I mean, the idea is that you should be doing some kind of things. But the idea is a plugin can be extended to provide multiple checks at different levels and things like that. So you can, for example, verify if the binary have been analyzed or some specific comments have been executed before. So yeah, it's only for use on R2. I missed two words. So it's basically it runs inside the shell, so you cannot verify the Rabin2 Rags2 use of the tool, like the other plugin show. And also, probably the most important thing is that it's featuring Clippy, which is the one who is giving you the hints. So it's time for a demo. So as you will see, this is the root directory of the project. There is a README. There is also, this is the Markdown parser. The Markdown parser is really quite simple. You will see it's 100 lines. And the description of the test are like this. I only wrote two different levels. They are very basic, but I expect the community can be contributing on that, and we can have like multiple levels for tutorials, and that can be integrated in Termux, for example, or in iOS, or or in a website or any other place that you can run R2. So this is the H1 title, so the bigger one defines the category. Then there is a description. In here, there is like a key value. If there is like a colon in the line, it can be used for describing some kind of hash table values. Then there's the description. All this stuff is something that Clippy will be telling you when you run the thing. And then you can add some metadata, that who is the author of the plugin, which is the input file, which are the hints, and then which command should be run to be verifying that the thing has been working properly, and then the expect, which is the thing that should be comparing to the output of the command. So as long as I do makefile for everything, I did a makefile to compile and run the plugin. To run the plugin is basically installing it and then use the golf command. So if you type make, we'll build the thing and we'll execute the game. So the first thing, it's enumerating all the plugins that are in the T directory, and then it's asked you for the number. So I will pick the first one. It says this is the difficulty level easy, smaller font size. So this is exercise about learning how to read the assembly code and moving around with R2. You have to seek at the beginning of the function that prints the usage help message. So we are here, and we don't know which file it's listing, so maybe we have to use the command O to list the files that are opened in here. We can maybe use AA to analyze all the functions, or maybe just AAR to analyze all the references. So maybe we can just find a reference to usage. Maybe we have to analyze more. That's lowercase. So now if you print the first instruction, you will see that there is like a reference. So we will seek to this function. And bingo, congratulations, you solved the first exercise. If you run the golf command, you will see there are some subcommands. So you can kill the current session, you can create a new one, you can get a hint, you can test that something is working or not, etc. So that's the current, so there is a golf stat, which gives you the amount of comments that you type, how many times you ask for help, and things like that. So at the end, it's a way to get some statistics from the player. I wrote that plugin like almost a year ago. I didn't have much time for improving it, but as long as he submitted the same tool that I wrote, it was kind of a mess to not make a quick talk explaining how the plugin is and publishing it, and maybe find some contributors to write more tests, more tutorials on levels for this game. So thanks again. I hope you like this game, and you will probably be playing around the next days. Any question? Nope? Okay.
Yeah, one.
The microphone?
Hi.
Hey.
Are the levels linear, or is there a branch?
Yeah, for now it's just linear. I mean, there is one level after the other one. But yeah, it would be nice if there is other ways to construct or to organize the different levels or options. So depending on what you solve, you can jump to another level, or that's what you mean, or?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, what I was thinking is every time that you win a game, you get a bunch of points. And in order to get to the next level, you have to accumulate a specific amount of points. So it's not just you finish something and then you go to the next. I mean, something that you have to accumulate most points, like solving the crack missing or the solutions of the problems in a specific amount of time, or solving with less than 3 comments, for example. So you get more practice after repeating the same things multiple times. More questions? Nope? Okay, thank you.